JB here, JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Monday, January 12th, 3:30 on this fine afternoon. Talk really quick about the market. Some names I'm looking at go from there. S&P up about 0.2%. The market is reverse course, red to green, big surprise. I talked about it on last night's week ahead webinar. I do apologize. The first 3 or 4 minutes went through, and then for some reason the audio cut. I got emails overnight, but I wake up in the morning, didn't realize, and then yeah, so I apologize for that. Maybe I'll try and do a week ahead, 4-day week ahead webinar uh, today or later today. But impressive stuff. So yeah, it's funny. You read the headlines here today, and there's so much chatter around what went on with Fed Chair Powell and the subpoena of the Department of Justice around this construction on the Fed building. It's just, I said it this morning. It's like just unnecessary noise, and you would think, and gosh, this morning was headlines. Oh my gosh, this is bad. I forget what banking analysts came out saying this is horrible for Fred. The credibility of the markets as the Fed has lost its independence. But this is 8 months in the making, right? And here we are a couple months away from Fed Chair Powell's term ending in May. So to me, I don't know. It's almost like the tariff situation, right? I hate to say the boy who cried wolf situation, but the Liberation Day was kind of like the boy who cried wolf moment for markets, at least in my opinion, right? I was shocked when that board came out and the reciprocal tariffs were anything but reciprocal tariffs, and to the amount of percentages, I was like, wow, and then you see it was just kind of used as like a bargaining chip, and now no one's really talking about these tariffs because all that stuff has been somewhat resolved, right? So it's same with Fed Chair Powell. The first time we got this, oh my God, we're going to fire Fed Chair Powell this back in the summer, or maybe it was April, I forget the exact date. Markets tumbled, right? And then every time there was another tweet, the falls after the tweet got small till it didn't move markets, right? And then this weekend we have this Sunday night. Now, supposedly Trump didn't try to wasn't the one who initiated this subpoena, but I mean, you have to think there were some rumblings. So it's almost like the market's shaking off a little bit. It's just, I don't like to get political. I'm not going to talk political. It's just not good, right? At some point, there's got to be checks and balances, right? There's got to be some kind of force in the in the government that is, not controlled by something, right? And the one that probably the most important is the one that controls the economy. So it doesn't control the economy per se, but it has tools to do that. So we'll see how this all plays out. But this morning it seemed like, oh my gosh, it'd be crazy stuff. And you do this long enough, red to green is probably going to happen. And sure enough, it did. And then you read headlines this afternoon. I always look at Market Watch for comedic relief, right? What was one of these analysts? I forget what of course I don't have it here. But saying, oh, buy the dip. Buy the dip is looks like it's in for 2026. I'm like, buy the dip, right? No one was saying buy the. A lot of folks were saying, oh, this, and then then you have all the rumblings. Michael Burry with the big short. He's short Oracle on Friday. God, kicking myself for missing Oracle today. I'm staring at his 197, but I don't want to be in spot. I keep saying that at some point there's going to be a pull, and I don't. You could see obviously concern around the Fed is not the reason. So there's going to be something. Maybe there's no reason. But I don't want to be in too much where I'm in a spot where I'm caught with my pants down. That's the worst feeling. So I'm not going to try and chase Oracle here. But anyway, overall market 696 to 693 to 686. We got right up to 696. I'm not going to sit here and pat myself on the back, but 696 hit, fell down to 695. We've been chopping here into the close. We'll see where we close here. Yeah, the VIX is at 15. That's up 4%, but 15 seems like I'll take 15, right? I don't think that's anything crazy. But the concerning thing is yields, and yields are up. So don't want to see the 10-year keep going higher. All right, so that's overall markets. Big week. I talked about this morning CPI tomorrow. That's going to be huge. We have retail sales data, PPI on Wednesday. JP Morgan Healthcare Conference is going. You see a lot of healthcare related stocks moving. Yeah, it's going to be a busy week. And sometimes I like this too, right? Usually when you keep busy, it keeps you out of trouble. So when the market's busy with headlines, I think it keeps it out of trouble. So maybe we can have some nice moves here this week. Markets can find at least some footing, or at least trading somewhat of a tight range, and then individual names can continue to outperform. All right, so that's overall markets. Quick on individual names. Take a look at Pool this morning. Friday afternoon, I was talking about Pool. I think it was at 251. Just talking about trying to find strikes to play for upside. And I think I posted a tweet, right? It looks like it's finally going. January 260s look too pricey. Pool sees 255 by Tuesday. The 270s will be 100 to 200%. Sure enough, we get that Bard upgrade, Baird, however you pronounce that analyst, upgrade pool to outperform this morning. The stock is up 2.5%. I thought it'd be more. All things considered, maybe it's some of it's because of its move since the start of the year, but a good sign here. I was thinking maybe this heads over 270 before the week is out. If that's the case, the rest of my 270 is going to be a couple thousand%. But never know, right? So lock some more of my strikes out for over 400%, and then I'll probably just continue to hold the last. The thought process here is I'll probably look to get some February strikes. And I was looking earlier at the 300s. Those look kind of interesting, but the spreads are 85 by 170. So maybe I'll wait till tomorrow for the dust to settle. Also, huge volume coming in on the February 290s. Open interest is 34 contracts, over 650 have traded today. So I don't know if there'll be some kind. I don't know if there's a spread. Did I even pull up, see if there's a spread? Because the 250s for this week have some volume. Well, I probably should look at that first, but might look to get some strikes into February. But good thing is, riding with some profits, some freebies. If it continues from the upside, I can take advantage of that. If it fizzles, have an opportunity to get some February strikes. So that's the thought process there. All right, so that's Pool. Solar Edge. I don't know how many weeks in a row I've been talking about Solar Edge breaking out and having its move back up to its post earnings. Almost broke 250. Waiting last week, or the week before, I got the 40 strikes and watching it fizzle, and finally today it's like someone just hit a button and the buyers came out. Boom, all up 10, 11%, almost up to 37 by 130. I got those 30. I was looking for strikes, right? So in one half, sometimes I look to get further out strikes, but I have the 40s already. So I'm like, let me get the weeklies this week, and then I can look to get some further out strikes. I got the January 38s, and then boom, kept going, locks them in for close to 100%. And then I don't want to be in a spot where this pulls tomorrow. So I locked most of them in. I just took some more off at 80 cents for a little over 150, close to 150%. And I'll just hold the rest of those. And then I still have the 40s. I think there's the backdrop, and the AI energy story still looks like it's on. And then I think the people finding some auxiliary plays or names that haven't really benefited as much. And I think when people look at Solar Edge, they don't look at it as an AI boom energy play. They look at it as a beaten down, possible bankrupt solar story, energy story, that renewable energy story that has been destroyed because of subsidies and what's going on with the new administration, the big beautiful tax bill that took away all these incentives. And now, to me, it's a rebound story. And I look at Solar Edge and I'm like, this name could be $100 stock, and you can make the bull case for it this year. Like I can, the fundamentals, the revenues, it just needs just a little bit more growth or some other catalyst. And I think it's off to the races. And when I say it's still up 7% today. It's off its highs. But anyway, I'm not going to add any more strikes into the end of the day. Definitely a name I'll continue to look for opportunities because it's been a monster one, especially over the last couple of months. So that's Solar Edge. Speaking of energy names, NKLR, afternoon volume is like, I think at some point this thing takes off. I mean, look at this little wall. Maybe it's a brick wall. And if this brick wall breaks, I think it gets some Momo. And again, people are looking for other names that haven't rallied or haven't participated in this energy boom cycle. And OKLO, obviously, since last year or so, that there's other names, and this I think is one of those names that just at some point, even if it's just a couple-day rally, I think it's going to explode. And when it does, premiums are going to skyrocket it. So anyway, so still have the January strikes. Hopefully get some move to get my 750s with some profits, and then added those February strikes. I'll continue to hold those. Serve Robotics fluttering around here. Almost went red to green earlier. Would have liked to see it hit 1375. It hit 1390. Still love this one. I'm not going to talk too much about this one. Sweet Green boomerang this morning, all the way down to 735 in the morning. And then buyers came in. It's only up 1.4%, but to me, it's like a telling sign that this is just going to continue to go. Issues would be, and you don't like to see, I always talk about oversold names. Is this overbought? And you look at the RSI, and RSI, I typically don't look, or it doesn't really concern me much unless it hits some levels, and 70 is like, they overbought. So hopefully just maybe tomorrow's the day, it just consolidates. Still have those February 9s. I'm not going to add any more strikes just yet, but gap fill's only at 12 and change from August. So that's not a far cry. And the closer it gets, the more closer reality it seems, like the easier it seems. So Anyway, that's sweet green. Of course, Oracle. Just Oracle's like calling my name. Um, Names I'm looking at. I got asked in the chat earlier about AMD. 223. I think that's the 50-day moving average on AMD. That certainly looks doable. But again, I don't want. Number one, the premiums are pretty tough to trade these. So like I'm looking at AMD, and you pull it up, and for me, I'm not trading longer term. I'll probably do weekly strikes, but the 220s are almost $1. So uh, and those are only up despite its 2.6% move. The calls are only up like 40%. So the risk reward there is tough. And so me, I keep saying this, and I hate to, I want to be me. I would love to get my bullhorns on, get overly aggressive in some names and try and do some lottos. But it's just, you just get this feeling that there's one day there's going to be a premium crush day, and I just don't want to be scrambling to get to exit positions when that happens. So to me, when that happens, I want to be in a position where I can get some hedge puts, only be in longer dated strikes that I already hold freebies on, and it'll be a much more enjoyable day. The pullbacks we had, I'm trying to think of some of the scenarios. I think back in the summer, even in November when we've had some of these pulls, and I'm in those Broadcom puts that paid off 1,000% and all that. Those are great days, even when you have call positions, because you offset some of the losses, and then now you make profits on the puts. So that's kind of the ideal scenario when it happens. I don't want it to happen, but when it does, you got to be prepared for it. And that's it. I'm trying to think of some of these other names today. Baidu's similar to last week. I want to get some strikes play Baidu for that move into the 170s, but tough. So I'll just sit on my hands. That's at 152. Some of these China ADRs, Asia markets rallied overnight, so I think that's some of the move. Lemonade, right? Another name's up 7% here today, but that one's been struggling. It could be $85 today and back down to 79 tomorrow. So until I get more conviction, yeah, that's it. All right, let's have a great day, folks. I'll be back. Rock and roll.